Hey everyone, welcome back. Dave in History for the Ages. If you're new, make sure to like, subscribe, leave comments. I always love comments on my videos. And this is a question I get so often when I'm teaching in my classroom. Can you use the Bible as historical evidence? And the answer is yes and no, right? So let's go through this, especially this one specific question. Was there really a kingdom of David? And so this is an important stele you're going to see here, which I'm going to talk about that shows us archaeological evidence that does support things that were in the Bible. So, of course, most people are familiar with the biblical story of David. And in the Bible, it says there's King David. He ruled a united kingdom of the Hebrews around 1000 BC. He defeated the enemies of Israel, the Philistines. There's, of course, the story of David and Goliath. When we talk about the story of David and Goliath, I tell my students, was there literally a Goliath? Was there literally a giant that David slayed? Or is it more of a symbolic story of David defeating a threat to the Israelites and the Jewish people who lived in Judea and Israel? And so there's definitely things in the Bible that I don't think from historical standpoint you could take literally. You have to kind of give them interpretations. You have to understand that some of it is based on storytelling. But at the same time, there's definitely historical evidence of people and things that are accounted in the Bible that we know happened. And in 1993, there was a very important discovery that reinforced the idea of an actual King David. And so this is the discovery. This is what we call the Tel Dan inscription. It was found in northern Israel, and it's actually written in Aramaic, which is different than Hebrew, but many Jewish people spoke that language. And if you look at it, it talks about the kingdom of David or the house of David, and we know this dates back to the 9th century BC. So is it very possible that around 1000 BC there was a strong kingdom of Israelites ruled by King David? Now, one of the problems is this, and most historians and most archaeologists acknowledge that there was a King David, acknowledge that he ruled over Israel. Where there's more of a debate was, what did he rule over? Did he rule over this magnificent, big, developed kingdom? Or was it more kind of, we call the maximist or the minimalist view? Or was it more of a small, independent little, region that was not as well developed? And one of the problems of knowing, what it was is because, we have archaeological evidence, we dig, we find other excavation sites in Jerusalem and so forth that kind of show around the time of King David that there was definitely something there. But a lot of times we use carbon dating, and the problem with carbon dating is it's got like a plus minus in terms of how accurate it is. So if you carbon date something that shows us evidence of a magnificent kingdom, and it carbon dates to the year 1000 BC, well, it could be 1000 BC, it could be, about 75 years more or 75 years after. And so that's where sometimes it becomes tricky to know the exact date of when these individuals ruled and what they ruled over. But this inscription, this Tel Dan inscription, and then other excavation sites that we have found definitely show that there was a historical King David. And so I just kind of want to talk about that. I have a whole long playlist on the history of Israel from ancient times all the way until today. And it's something I think important for people to understand how, yes, sometimes we could look at the Bible as a historical document, but we also can't just rely on it blindly. You have to, of course, think critically, do various interpretations of history, look at the archaeological evidence, and understand you're going to have different debates and discussions about these things. But there was, I think, pretty certain King David. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. Please share with others. Looking forward to reading your comments on it. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you for watching.